Historic moments in the United Kingdom this morning as the Queen's coffin is being transported from Balmoral Estate to the Scottish capital of Edinburgh.
And as the country mourns, the transition of power to the new king is already well underway. Our very own Lauren Lyster is live at Windsor Castle with the latest. Lauren, good morning.
Elena and Mark, good morning. As thousands of people have been turning out to grieve the Queen here in the London area at Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle, where I am, laying flowers, giving tributes. Today is really all about people in Scotland saying goodbye to the monarch, the former monarch now, the late Queen Elizabeth II. Let's go ahead and take a look at those live images as there has been an hours-long procession going on there as she left Balmoral Castle. That's where she passed away just a few days ago, and the hearse carrying her coffin is making the trip to Edinburgh, where the Queen's body will lie in state, her coffin, and people will have an opportunity to pay respects. But we're seeing people lie in the streets doing just that, paying tribute as they have a chance to see that hearse pass through. This all ahead of her eventually coming here to the London area, and her coffin, her body will again lie in state, and her funeral will be a short time after that. September 19th has now been confirmed. This as King Charles III was formally proclaimed here in England yesterday, and those proclamations are now going on elsewhere in the UK. In Scotland, it was met with cheers and boos. Take a listen.
God save the King!
So you can hear some cheers and boos there. King Charles was formally proclaimed in Edinburgh as the new monarch, and also in the rest of the nations of the UK, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. Yesterday, this whole process happened in England. Now, we don't yet know the full backstory on that booing. That video is just into our newsroom, but we do know that there's an independence movement in Scotland, and a top official in one political party has demanded the end of the monarchy in Scotland following the death of the Queen. Of course, there have been lots of people pledging and saying and speaking out about how supportive they are of her and in support of the monarchy. But back at her live, that scene just shows, you know, a really interesting perspective on all of this.
Lauren, I think you have to go back to 1965 when Winston Churchill passed away. I believe that was the first state funeral that was held in the UK, but we have some new details involving the Queen's funeral. Do you have information on that?
Yeah, I do, because we knew vaguely when it would be, because plans have been in motion for years, so some of those have come out. But the palace officially confirmed the details just late yesterday, saying it will be September 19th. There is a period of mourning in this country leading up to that, and it'll be at 11 in the morning. It will be televised. We know a number of dignitaries will be there. We haven't gotten a list confirmed, but President Biden a few days ago did confirm to reporters that he will be in attendance. And it'll be at Westminster Abbey. Now, this is a church where countless coronations have taken place, but it's been quite some time since a British monarch's funeral was held there. So that'll be obviously a big event here. It will be televised, and there's a lot leading up to it. The Buckingham Palace will not say how many people they estimate will pass by her coffin in the time leading up to it, the days that her body will lie in state, or coffin. But judging by past royal funerals, it could be tens of thousands. Some estimates even say hundreds of thousands. And the Queen's coffin will return to London in just a few days, and that process will begin.
Lauren, I remember a couple years ago we spoke to an actress, I think she was on the show Ted Lasso, and we asked her about Harry and an interview that he was going to have with Oprah Winfrey, and she told us to leave it alone. She said, leave this kid alone. What are people in London, what are they saying about Harry? What are they saying about William? Do they even care? Are they focused on that, or are they more focused on the Queen, her life, and the legacy that she leaves behind?
I would think more the Queen.
Well, Mark, I think the front page of this Sunday newspaper says it all. This is the headline, Reunited in Sorrow. It is a picture of Prince Harry and Meghan, Prince William and Princess Kate, as they all appeared together just behind me at Windsor Castle. On those grounds, they came in a surprise visit looking at all of the tributes to Queen Elizabeth, and they talked to the mourners. They shook their hands, they spoke with them. And this is the front page on a number of papers today, even though King Charles was formally proclaimed here yesterday, and there were a bunch of ceremonies and a lot of pomp and circumstance surrounding that. But this is the headline, and we were talking to a few women, locals, just a short time ago, who were saying that every move is being dissected on social media, that people were looking at everything that Harry and Meghan did, and they were talking about sort of the lack of popularity for Meghan around here. And a number of people I've spoken to said it's really that bombshell Oprah interview that sort of changed their minds, and where, for them at least, they felt like she lost some goodwill.
Well, I think the Queen always preferred to maintain a very private image. So, you know, looking at the future of the monarch, I mean, these four people, they are going to dictate the tone that they set, you know, whether they're going to be unified or not. So, interesting things to see in the days ahead. Lauren, thank you so much.
Yeah, great job out there, Lauren.